You're watching Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach Jr. sit across from each other again. But this time, it feels different. No smiles, no showboating, just locked eyes, heavy tension, and a silence that feels louder than any crowd. This isn't just a rematch. This is unfinished business. The cameras zoom in as Roach leans into the mic, brushing past the scripted fight hype. "You know what you did," he says. 4 words. That's it. But the impact? Immediate. Fans watching live start flooding social media. Even the press row stiffens. Tank doesn't flinch, but his jaw does clench, ever so slightly. That's when you know Roach hit a nerve. Because this fight isn't about belts anymore. It's about respect. The first fight? A draw on the cards, but not in the hearts of fans. Some called it robbery. Others say Roach exposed Tank. And Tank? He never admitted anything. Never explained that moment in round 9 when he took a knee. The one that still gets replayed frame by frame. Did he trip? Was he hurt? Or was it a calculated reset? Roach brings it up again, not as a jab, but as a challenge. "All I asked for was clarity," he says. "You gave me silence, so now I'm giving you smoke." Tank doesn't say a word. He doesn't need to. His body language says everything. "I heard you, and I'm going to answer in the ring." Around the world, fans are picking sides. Some are screaming Roach in 6. Others are predicting Tank by KO. But one thing's for sure, the gloves are off now, and this is no longer just about boxing. This is personal. This is legacy. This is what happens when the truth doesn't come out in the post-fight interview, so it gets settled in blood. If your name was being dragged through the mud, would you respond with words? Or would you wait until the lights were on and the fists were flying? You're backstage now, watching the trainers work. The cameras catch a glimpse of Tank pounding the heavy bag like it owes him money. No music, no crowd. Just the sound of leather meeting leather, sharp, angry, relentless. There's a fire in his eyes, and it's not just for Lamont Roach. It's for the whispers, the ones that say he's lost a step, the ones that say he ducked accountability, the ones that bring up that knee. Because this isn't just another training camp. This is rehab, for his image, for his ego, for his place at the top. The footage from this camp looks different, cleaner, sharper, and it's not by accident. He's moving like a man who knows this isn't just a title defense, it's a correction. Roach may have gotten under his skin, but Tank is working like someone who plans to peel it off in return. Meanwhile, Roach is putting in work too, but his grind looks like something from the other side of the tracks. You see him in a dimly lit gym in DC, sparring with dogs, not literal ones, but fighters with scars and nothing to lose. Roach trains like he's chasing something. He hits the mitts with purpose. He barks between rounds. His camp isn't pretty, it's gritty, and that's what makes it dangerous. Because Roach knows the math. He's not the star. He's not the pay-per-view draw. But if he wins, everything changes. Respect, bags, legacy. He becomes the man who beat the man. And for Tank, one misstep, one slow moment, one miscalculated hook, and this whole empire crumbles. So you start to wonder, if your crown was hanging by a thread, would you train harder to keep it or fight dirtier to protect it? You're back at the press conference now, but the energy is different. No lights, no crowd noise, just the clip playing back in your head. Roach leaning into the mic, eyes locked on Tank, saying, "You know what you did," and just like that, the entire room shifts. The knee incident isn't just some footnote anymore. It's front and center. The thing everyone's too scared to outright say, but too obsessed to forget. Did Tank really take a knee to avoid a knockdown? Was it strategy or surrender? You catch Tank's jaw clench when Roach brings it up. The moment in their last fight that sparked endless debates. Fans said he took a knee. Judges didn't call it. Some called it a knockdown. Others called it cowardice. And Roach, he hasn't let it go. "You know what you did," he repeats, never breaking eye contact. The tension spikes. Tank doesn't flinch, but his silence says more than words could. You hear shuffling in the crowd, journalists whispering. One reporter nods like he's confirming a theory. The moment has already gone viral, and Roach, he feeds off it. "You had to take a knee to survive, and now you're calling this a rematch?" He sneers. "You better come correct, 'cause this time, I won't let you up." That's the shot, the psychological warfare. Roach isn't just trying to win a fight, he's trying to win the mind games. He wants the crowd. He wants the doubt, and right now, he might have both. So now the real question creeps in. If someone publicly reminded you of your lowest moment, would you fight to erase it, or let your fists do the rewriting? You're in the gym now, not as a fighter, but as a fly on the wall. Gervonta "Tank" Davis is putting in the kind of work that makes even seasoned trainers shake their heads. No breaks, no music, just sweat, focus, and that eerie quiet right before something explodes. His fists are moving too fast for your eyes to track. The pads pop like gunfire. This isn't the same Tank from 6 months ago. Gone is the laid-back confidence people criticized. Gone is the talk of retirement, distractions, or slipping discipline. In its place is a version of Tank that looks dangerous, not just because of the power, but because of the patience. He's pacing himself now, calculated. You can feel it in how he moves. The footage from Prime Video shows him shadow boxing like a machine. His footwork tighter, cleaner, more controlled. He's in shape, physically and mentally. Even his trainer doesn't say much, just nods after each drill. And when Tank finally takes a break, it's not to scroll a phone or talk trash. It's to breathe, deep, slow, focused. They say hunger makes champions. But what about vengeance? See, Tank knows what the critics said after the first Roach fight, that he looked off, that Roach was hungrier, that maybe, just maybe, Tank's reign was coming to an end. And Tank's answer isn't a tweet or a press quote. It's this, a silent war in the gym, one that only ends with Roach flat on the canvas. And now the question flips. If the first fight exposed Tank's cracks, what happens when he patches every one of them before stepping back into the ring? Would you be ready for a man training like he's trying to silence the world? You're watching Lamont Roach Jr. speak with a fire that doesn't feel like promotion. It feels personal. His tone is razor sharp. He's not here to play the underdog role again, not after what he endured in the first fight. They said I was too small, he says. But who took the knee? It's a jab without gloves, and the crowd knows exactly what he's referring to. That controversial moment in their last bout, when Gervonta Davis dropped to one knee after a clean shot from Roach, still hangs in the air. Judges didn't call it a knockdown. Commentators danced around it. But fans? They saw it for what it was, the moment Tank got caught. The moment Roach landed something real, something undeniable. You know what you did, Roach says in the latest press run, eyes never flinching from the camera. You felt it. I know you felt it. You just got lucky that bell came when it did. And this time, he promises not to leave it to luck. While Tank's training videos show power, Roach's clips show focus. He's studying every angle, dissecting Tank's habits, and preparing not just to survive, but to dominate. And behind the scenes, Roach's team is doubling down. Word is they've brought in elite sparring partners who mimic Tank's style. They're drilling one combo over and over, the same one that stunned Tank last time. Because Roach doesn't want a war, he wants a statement. And now the question lingers. If you made the top guy in the division take a knee, how do you approach the rematch? Do you play it safe? Or do you go for the legacy moment, the one that says I belong here, and I always did? You hear it in the tone of the analysts now? Something's shifted. What once felt like a sure thing for Gervonta "Tank" Davis now feels uncertain, and it all comes back to what Lamont Roach Jr. did the first time around. This isn't just hype anymore. This is strategy versus legacy. The rematch hype isn't just being pushed by networks, it's being fueled by how close that first fight really was. Roach didn't just survive Tank's power, he absorbed it, answered it, even returned some of his own. And in boxing, that's everything. If you can take a man's best shot and still stare him down, you've already won a piece of him. The Roach camp is laser focused on that. They're not treating this like a second chance. They're treating it like correction. You can see it in Roach's training sessions. He's moving sharper, cleaner, smarter, not wasting punches, not overextending. He's closing distance on angles where Tank used to dominate, and his sparring isn't for show. It's built around pressure, staying in the pocket, standing right in front of a power puncher and not flinching. Meanwhile, the whispers about Tank's conditioning linger. The photos show him shredded, sure, but insiders still question the mental side. Has retirement softened his killer instinct, or has criticism refueled it? One boxing writer even called it Tank's Mike Tyson moment. The point in his career where everyone expects destruction, but the right opponent, confident, unfazed, can turn it all upside down. And now, fans are watching the buildup like it's a chess match. Does Tank still have the explosive gear to erase a calculated fighter like Roach? Or will Roach play spoiler again? Not with flash, but with focus. If you were fighting a man with one-punch power, would you dance around it or walk through it to prove he bleeds just like you? You're watching the stage lights dim after the final press interviews, but the echoes of what just unfolded won't quiet down. Not for the fans, not for the camps, and definitely not for the fighters. What was supposed to be a simple rematch setup has now exploded.
You don't
into
just
a
hear the tension,
psychological war.
you feel it.
And you feel
the crowd
it
is
in
quiet,
the silence.
but
But
the
the
pressure
pressure
between
between
Gervonta
Gervonta Davis and
Lamont
Lamont
Roach
Davis
is loud
for
enough
all
to
his
rattle
precision
the
and
arena
punching
walls.
power.
You're sitting
no
just a
longer
few
the
feet from the
unquestioned
stage
predator.
as they lock
that
eyes.
aura has been
Two
cracked,
hometown legends
not shattered,
with unfinished
but
business.
fractured.
The
Just
rematch
enough
isn't
for
just
doubt
about
to
belts
creep in.
or rankings
And Lamont
anymore.
Roach,
He's
personal.
leaning into
You catch
it.
Tank's
No longer
jaw
the
clench
silent
when
underdog.
Roach brings up
No longer the
knee
man
incident.
just happy to
the
be on
moment in their
stage.
last fight.
Now
that
he's the
sparked
challenger
endless
with a
debates.
chip.
Fans said he took a knee.
Driving
Judges
him to
didn't
stare
call it
Tank down.
Some called it a knockdown.
Fear.
Others
Outside
called
the arena,
it cowardice.
fans are
and
split
Roach,
like never
he hasn't
before.
let it go.
Some post
you know what you
side by
did,
side training
says
clips
into the
and
mic.
argue over
never
form,
breaking eye contact.
footwork,
The room
and who really
stiffens.
had the edge
Tank
in the
doesn't
first fight.
flinch.
But
Others
he doesn't
post
smile
memes,
either. He leans
comparing
in,
Roach
calm,
to a cockroach with a
calculated,
lightsaber,
and replies,
"Still standing,
you had your shot,
still
and
dangerous.
you couldn't finish
Even
the job."
legends are
That's
picking
when the
sides.
first boos
Some are
erupt.
saying
It's
Roach
a
has
hometown
the
crowd
heart.
split
Others
down the
swear
middle.
Tank's
DC
knockout will
loyalty
be
surgical
surgical
this time
Baltimore
around.
fired.
But
Then
the
Roach
fighters
brings up
their
the
done
old sparring
talking.
sessions.
Roach has made
back
it clear
when both were
if
amateurs.
he's on his way out,
You were always
I'm kicking
fast,
him out,
he says.
and Tank,
but you
usually
never had
explosive
heart.
with
That's
words,
when Davis
is
finally
eerily
rises
measured now,
from his seat.
like a man
For a
sharpening
split
the
second,
blade.
You think
not
he's
swinging
going to
it.
cross the
It's
table.
no longer about
His team
belts.
pulls him back.
It's no longer
the tension
about
is
headlines.
thick enough to
It's about
slice
proving
through
who
with a
finished
glove.
this
There's
story.
no more
And
posturing.
now everyone's
no
asking
more
the
mind
only
games.
question that
Just
matters.
two fighters
When
who
the
know
lights
each
go
other
down
too
and
well
the bell rings,
and hate each other
will
for
it be Tank's
and now
legacy
fans
that
are
gets
asking
rewritten,
if Roach
or
nearly
Roach's
broke
legend
Tank
that
last
gets
time?
born?
What
Because
happens
in
when
this
he walks
rematch,
in with nothing
only
to lose?
one man walks
Would you
away
bet against a man who's
undisputed.